Right, ladies and gentlemen, this could be the worst YouTube video you ever watch. I mean, there's three things that could really happen here, let's be real. My phone dies halfway through. My phone storage fills up halfway through. Or it stops recording halfway through, because iPhones do that. Or this doesn't work the whole time, you can barely hear me. Something's going to go wrong, but let's go with it. I don't know why you clicked on this video. Maybe you're a fatty. Right? Maybe you're not. Maybe you're just here for the entertainment. All right? Maybe you are a fatty, because I was a fatty, so it's fine. Don't worry about being a fatty. Just don't stay a fatty forever. That's key, because life does get better for you if you can somehow get it off. You might be another coach trying to get some content inspiration. Get out of it. Yeah? Get your own content. All right? I don't know who you are. I don't know why you're here, but today we're going to be talking about how I lost 23 kilograms since the start of this year. And this episode is going to be about nutrition. It's going to be like a 3 or 4 part series if I bother making another one. And it's going to be really cool. I'm going to go to all aspects because it was a real big journey for me, obviously. Like, if you go from losing 23 kilograms, I was 103 kilograms down to, I'm now 80, 81, fluctuating between that. And it's a big journey, you know, you go through a lot of mindset shifts, nutrition shifts, and yeah, it's something to be studied for sure. Every single part of my journey, I learned new things about myself. And I was in a place last year, well, I've been in shape before in my life like I am now. But for me, when I've been a fitness coach for a long time, it's like, other than like the obvious thing of like setting an example for your clients and looking good for social media, you've got to try and find bigger whys as to why it's important to stay in shape, because it's so easy just to drift off and get out of shape because you've been there before. It's like, why do I need to keep doing this and going in and out of shape? So I had to learn a lot about myself in this process, and we'll go through each one. I'm going to keep on checking, by the way, halfway through if this is going to be working. So I might just dip off and check it and then come back. But let's just see how it goes anyway. So I found myself in a place last year where I gained a lot of weight because, I'll be real with you, I was going down a pub and drinking a lot, watching football. Right, Euros was on, having a good time, good summer. I was working loads, so I was just really trying to get my business off the ground. And I just started online coaching too, so I was sat at a laptop all day. Then I'd do like 6 to 8 PT sessions some days too. And even though you're on your feet, you are neglecting yourself. You get home at night and you want to treat yourself after a long day at work, same as you guys. And then weekend comes, you want to go and splurge and have fun. I'll go play football with the boys, and then we'd go and have like 8 pints after. And then sometimes we'd smoke a bit of weed as well. We'd smoke weed and we'd eat loads of food. Stupid, immature stuff that I had to really change about my life, right? But I had a good year last year. I enjoyed it. But I got to the end of the year. I've been to Italy as well. Obviously, you go to Italy and you eat loads of shit. Got back and I was like, right, something's got to change here. So enjoyed Christmas time. I knew I wasn't going to lose body fat over Christmas. Then the end of Christmas came and I was like, right. I saw my now coach, who I've followed for a long time, and I've always really liked his stuff. And I've known him from down the years from different educational systems with fitness and like mentorships. I've always known of him. And then he did an offer out where he said £1,000 and we're going to do a photo shoot in 4 months. So it was a 16-week prep. It was £1,000, but at the end of it, he did a photo shoot. So, and I thought that's exactly what I need at the start of this year. A kickstart, something, a deadline, a goal to get to, because I knew I had to change, and something I could really sink my teeth into. And I've been in the market for a coach for a little while anyway. So that was the big thing for me. I wanted to set a deadline, and I needed accountability from a coach. And we did it. We started off. So today what I'm going to do, I'm going to break down sort of each stage I went through with nutrition to get to where I wanted to. And a lot of it, you think you're going to be miles off it. You think you're going to have to cut this out, cut that out, change this completely. A lot of the time you don't. A lot of the time you're actually not as far away as you think you are with nutrition. You just got to make a few little tweaks, all right? So I lost 23 kilograms. I can tell you, apart from the last few weeks before the shoot, because I really wanted to nail it and get as low as possible on the scales and as good as possible, I drank alcohol through the entire prep, right? Not getting absolutely pissed. Right? I very rarely got very drunk, but I still had a few drinks. I still had the odd little takeaway here and there. I still enjoyed myself, right? So everything you think you need to do to lose 23 kilograms, 15 kilograms, 5 kilograms, 35 kilograms, oftentimes you don't actually need to go that extreme. It just needs to be monitored more and be more controlled, all right? So step one, we start off in January. We start the photo shoot prep, and I'm thinking, if I can get around to low 80s, I'll be really happy. which we did. So a lot of the time with nutrition, the issue isn't what you're eating. It's the fact that you have no idea how many calories you're actually consuming in the first place, right? And if you're under 30, you probably understand like tracking tools now, because food tracking is all over social media, so you might have heard of it. If you're older than that, you might not be as tuned in with calories. So we'll breeze through this. If you know all this stuff about calorie tracking already, you can sort of skip forward. But if you don't, or even if you do, still listen because it's important. Most people, especially coaches who fall out of shape like me at the start of this year, and just most people in general, are lazy when it comes to looking at the data and tracking. All right, I've gone about it on social media all the time. People probably get sick of it, but like if you're gonna get results and fast track it, not take years to get there, you have to have some sort of knowledge on what's going into your body. Okay. So the first thing that was really important, which is making sure we had some sort of idea of what was going into my body. So the first week of January, I started tracking my food. I think I was still over calories, but I started having an idea of what was going into my body. It's so good when you've had a break from tracking food for months or like 6 months, you start tracking again. You're like, yeah, fuck, this is getting me, that's getting me. And it's so important to like just take the first few weeks of your fat loss journey tracking your food, so you know how many calories are in what. Because from there you can start to have a knowledge of like how many calories you're actually consuming, what's my carb intake, my fat intake, my protein intake. And from there, you can pretty much keep your diet the same starting off, but just make little tweaks. So many clients of mine, a lot of young guys too, like students who I've trained in the past, are so surprised at what they can still do and lose body fat. They're like, what, I can go down the pub still and I can order a pizza, I can still lose body fat. I'm like, yeah, you just got to track it. Don't get mental, but like set limits for yourself, And a lot of people in their 40s and 50s can't believe it. They're like, no, I've got to stop doing this, stop doing that. I'm like, no, you don't, bruv. You just need to, I shouldn't say bruv, as I'm professional. No, you don't, bro. You need to just start tracking the data. So step number 1 is start tracking the data. Start using MyFitnessPal or something similar to start tracking your food, okay? It really is as simple as that. For most guys, you're going to be between 2,000 and 2,500. If you're a smaller guy, you're not as heavy, probably about 2,000 calories. If you're a bigger guy like I started on 2,800. Sort of be in that area and you'll probably start to see fat loss. If you don't, just drop your calories slightly more, okay? The big mistake people make with food tracking is they try and be super accurate all the time. So they try and track every vegetable to the T, every bit of sauce to the T, try and get every single restaurant meal absolutely perfect at food tracking, which is impossible. Try and think of it more as an accountability tool, because think about like coaching is an accountability tool if you have a coach, right? Same thing with tracking food. It's not always going to be 100% accurate, right? It's like if you go to the gym, like my gym next door, the 25 kilogram dumbbell will weigh different to the David Lloyd across the road 25 kilogram dumbbell. They just will have slightly different weights. Every dumbbell weighs a little bit different, even if it says the same weight on the front. It doesn't matter. The number's still there, it's still data, and you still collect it and use it as something going forward. So yeah, that's the big thing, is getting some information on what is going into your body, okay? So for week 1 to 3, get comfortable tracking your food. That's always the first part. And then from there, slowly start to tweak it to how you can fit your calories. So keep your diet exactly the same starting off, and just try and make it hit calories, okay? In that first week, once you're hitting calories regularly, then start looking at your protein intake too. Because you might be getting to the end of the days and you just started playing with the fucking cutlery mid-video. You stopped? Right. I'm in a hotel, so there might be a lot of racket in the background. Once you've done the calorie part, this better not ruin the fucking video. Once you've done the calorie part, you've got to start focusing on protein. So when you increase your protein higher, you're going to be a lot more fulfilled, you're going to be a lot more full, and you're going to recover from your training sessions better too. We'll do a different video on training, but you'll recover a lot better from your training too. And what you'll find when you increase your protein, your diet's going to get a lot cleaner too. Okay, so keep the diet exactly the same, cater it to your calorie intake, and then start to increase protein from that, okay? So those are the steps. So after a few weeks, I'm in that phase, I'm starting to track food, I know what calories I'm having, I know what protein I'm having, and I'm still eating my favourite foods. I was still waking up, and I was going to Pret a Manger, and I was still eating a ham and cheese croissant for breakfast every morning. Because it was like one of the last things I was willing to hold on to, or willing to let go of, was my Pret a Manger ham and cheese croissant, right? So I still ate that every single day. But then my lunch would be very clean, and then dinner I would still keep it clean, high protein, but it would try and fit my calorie intake, my calorie target, okay? So we're going through, and like I need to start tackling these obstacles, right? So I'm like, how do I start tackling these obstacles of like what actually held me back last year? Because the big things were alcohol and probably smoking weed. I'll be honest with you, those are two big ones. So I had to start limiting who I was spending my time with. So I've got different friends in different friendship groups, okay? So like, I didn't see my main friendship group, I'll be honest with you guys. I saw them once in 6 months for my friend's birthday. And that was the only time I saw them. I didn't even have to tell them that I was doing a photo shoot because they just knew I was on it, in the zone, right? So because my main group of friends, if we're all together and we're all having a good time, we're going to end up having so many drinks. We're going to end up having 8, 10 pints. And when we do it, I've done it since the end of my photo shoot, I don't regret it at all. It's a great time, it's a great night, and that's what you need. Well, I'm going to check if the camera's still rolling. Yeah, we're still rolling. You need those nights. It's what life's about, but good times, those memories. You're going to fucking remember that more than the photo shoot you did, right? About a night out with your mates, right? The point is, if you have a fat loss goal you want to achieve, you have to make some sacrifices too, okay? So I didn't see any of my mates for about 6 months, apart from this one time at my mate's birthday, okay? And what that was me being like, I know if I see this lot, we're going to drink so much, we're going to end up eating shit, and that's going to be one of the biggest issues, is drinking alcohol and having these big splurges, these big weekends where I overconsume calories. I've got a deadline I need to hit, so I can't be doing that. So I made a decision not to see them, all right? I went for a bit of a season of no, where I said no, I'm not seeing them. I also broke up with my ex-girlfriend too, you know, shout out to her, great girl, but I just thought I wasn't happy, and it was something that was a decision I had to make to move on, because it was like my friends, if I'm, not necessarily about nutrition, but I had a deadline I had to have set, and I thought I need to make decisions fast to get to this goal. And my business also relies on this too. I have to be a walking, talking billboard for what I represent, okay? So I made those two big changes. My other two best mates as well I didn't see for 6 months because I knew with them as well, same thing, we're gonna have some drinks, we're gonna have some good time, might have a little smoke. So I was like, nah, can't do it, I'm gonna leave it. So I didn't see them all for 6 months. I saw one friend the whole time, and it was my flatmate, right? Because what we would do is we'd go play football on a Sunday and a Tuesday, right? But I had to communicate to him the whole time that like, this is my only social thing in the week, and I have a photo shoot coming up, it's really important to me, and I'm not gonna be getting drunk. I'm gonna be having 1 or 2 drinks and that's it. And in fairness to him, at first he was like, what the fuck? Because he's not into fitness that much. He likes playing football, but that's it. And he was like, all right, fine. So, and he started to understand more and more. He couldn't peer pressure me and how serious it was to me. But I also knew I needed that little bit of like downtime to myself to still have a drink, enjoy myself with a mate, because that kept me sane for the whole process. If I didn't have that, I would have gone mental. And I might have been a little bit leaner by the end of the photo shoot prep, but would it have been sustainable and enjoyable? Probably not too. And also, I was playing football twice a week, so burning so many calories, probably burning 1,500 calories from playing football. Anyway, we're going off track. That was the only time I actually saw my mate, and we had a few drinks. So I'd only drink like twice a week. A few drinks on a Tuesday after football, 1 drink after Tuesday, maybe 2. And then on a Sunday, I'd have 1 to 3 pints, and that'd be it. Okay, so that's alcohol covered for me during that whole process. And then towards the last month, I didn't drink at all. Apart from the odd little glass of wine. I love alcohol, I love drinking, right? I enjoy drinking. I enjoy sitting down with a friend, having a pint. I enjoy a Friday afternoon, I'll go and sit somewhere, have a glass of wine. I enjoy drinking. And a lot of you guys might not know that from social media. You probably do if you follow me on Instagram. I've always got a beer in my hand. But I love drinking, I love socialising. That's part of me. I don't like going to nightclubs and raves and stuff. That's really everything I hate. But I love a little beer, I love a glass of wine, I love chilling with a friend, you know, going out on a date, having a good time. I love doing that, right? So I'm not going to remove it out of my life completely. This is what you guys have to understand as well, before I go off on too many tangents, is you've got to learn to like accept what you're willing to give up to get to where you want to be, okay? I wasn't fully willing to give up convenience-based foods. I like to eat on the go. I don't like to cook that much. I didn't really cook the entire prep. I've started cooking more now, but in my photo shoot prep, I barely cooked. And I also enjoy drinking too. I like having a few drinks. Not getting drunk, but I like drinking, okay? So I would make a certain amount of space in a week for a certain amount of drinks. And it wasn't like a strict limit. Some weeks I wouldn't have any drinks. Some weeks I'd have 5, go over a little bit. But I just knew I had to really control that, because that's my main constraint last year, was drinking alcohol. Okay? I'm not an alcoholic, but I would enjoy consuming calories for alcohol and then probably ordering a takeaway after. So that all got limited, that got cut out. I wouldn't order takeaways because I had a big goal coming up too. And then really, the last bit of it, is in that 16-week prep, as the 16 weeks go on, things just get tighter and tighter and easier, because starting off, you're like, what can I get away with? What can I keep eating and losing weight? And then obviously your calories start dropping more. Your training picks up a lot more because you're doing more cardio too. And then you have to start eating cleaner. So it goes from this thing of like, what can I get away with, to then actually start going, I don't actually need all of this crappy food. And the habits of eating healthier get a hell of a lot easier. So I say for you guys right now, if you're in a position where you're like, I just can't eat clean, I just love eating this, I love drinking that, that's fine. The further you get along this process, the easier it gets to start slowly cutting things out or reducing them back. Don't expect to do it from day one. It's not going to happen. You right now, let's say you look in the mirror and you're 100 kilograms like I was, and if you look in the mirror in 6 months' time and you're 80 kilograms like I am now, those people are very different people. They tolerate different things, they have different standards for themselves. So it's a hell of a lot easier down the line to make these decisions, okay? So as you go along your process, you want to start slowly increasing things like protein and fiber, and the diet will get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. Your diet may never have to get super clean. It may never have to. If you're gonna set a goal, like I'm gonna be in photo shoot shape, I'm gonna do a bodybuilding show, which you probably shouldn't do that. I'm gonna do a white collar fight. I'm going on holiday. I want to be completely shredded, right? If you're gonna set some goal and a deadline, then yeah, you need to get tighter. But oftentimes, guys, you won't even have to get that tight on nutrition. Just track the data. It's the most important thing. But that goes on to the next thing, really. Maybe I should do another episode about this with like mindset and stuff, but I'll go into it quickly now in case you don't watch the other ones. Like, if you're gonna do this stuff and have this flexible lifestyle, I'm not just trying to like plug my coach in here. I had my own coach the whole time, and it's so important to have that accountability if you're gonna live like that. Because you still need someone on your back a little bit to make sure you're not taking a piss of it, okay? Because my clients are flexible with their dieting, but I have to pick them up on things and go, look, you're going way too far with that. Like, you don't need to go out every weekend drinking that amount, for example, okay? So I get to the end of my photo shoot, we get in good shape, everything's fine. Get down to the weight I want to be, I'm looking great. I do another photo shoot the month after with my clients, got even leaner. And then after that, I got leaner again because I was just training so much. My calories were still in a slight deficit, and I got super lean after. I got down to like 79 at one point. And it's just funny how the further you go along, the easier it is to eat clean, the easier it is to have self-control over certain things. And what I find now is it's so much easier to have one bad meal and be back on track straight away after. Like today, I had to eat something before a run, and I had half an hour. I had an almond croissant, not the healthiest. But then after that, I went to get a Caesar salad, and I had a chicken Caesar salad after, so I made up for it for the next meal. So the main takeaway of nutrition, there's no massive secret. It's track the data and be willing to look at what you need to actually sacrifice and what you don't, because most things you don't need to sacrifice, okay? Then start going along that process and realize that it's going to get easier to be more disciplined with certain things, okay? Like, it's so easy for me now to go and have one pint and be like, yeah, I'm done. Whereas back in the day, it would be like, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't even happen anymore. It's so easy for me now to have a nice bit of food and go, yeah, cool, I'm done. Whereas in the past, it would have been like, I need to keep on eating more and more. So let's quickly summarize. Start tracking the data and start hitting your calories. That's number one. You have to do that. So get calories down the first few weeks. We then want to increase protein, because from there we get a cleaner diet, we're more full, and we're recovering after that. That's step 2. All right, that might take a few weeks to get used to. Step 3 from there, I'd say start increasing fiber too. So more whole foods in the diet, okay? If you're going to eat in a way that is going to be flexible and you're going to still drink alcohol and still have nice meals on the weekend or at the end of the day, when you have a certain amount of calories left, you have to still eat whole foods to fill you up throughout the daytime, okay? I had lunch just then. I had a chicken Caesar salad, right? And I had this little rice ball, arancini thing for some carbs. I don't even know if that's a whole food. Maybe I'm bullshitting there. But the point is I'm still eating whole foods to fill myself up for tonight, okay? That's a massively important one, okay? So step 3 is start to increase fiber and still increase in protein more with whole foods. And then after that, you're set. You're on the go. Keep on driving forward and accept it's going to take a long time. And then from there, your diet will just get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner as you go along. You don't need to take any drastic measures, okay? It's as simple as that. Guys, I hope you found this useful. And I think my main advice for this would be identify your main constraint. Is it alcohol? Is it weekends? Is it post-work binges? There's countless things, right? Might be a mixture of a couple of things, but I'd say look at where your diet falls down the most. We all have one thing, which is like the big one. For me, it was like alcohol and weekends, and like you need to start looking at like how can I deal with this head on, and what's the best way for me to handle this constraint and start moving forward. Because if you don't handle it, you won't get to where you need to be. So for me now, my calories are really high on the weekend now. I've started going back out, having a few drinks, eating out at a nice restaurant. I eat sometimes 4,000 to 5,000 calories on a weekend day, right? But I've also adapted it now because I know I'm running 3 times a week, right? Because I enjoy running first of all, and also it does help me stay in shape too. But I know I can take the piss on the weekends more because it's going to keep me. I'm burning so many calories throughout the week, I can afford to do it. So you need to make sure you like analyze each problem that you're dealing with, and always be adapting and addressing it and making changes, because your life's going to change through different times. It's always going to be adapting, and you have to adapt to it too, okay? Guys, I'll leave it there with you. Hope you found that useful. That was nutrition. Dead simple. Track the data and slowly optimize your diet as you go along the process. For the next one, I'm going to do a training one, then maybe a mindset one, mindset, lifestyle. Let's make it a 3-part series. I hope you guys enjoyed.